Save on Cox Internet when you add Cox Mobile and get fiber-powered internet at home and unbeatable 5G reliability on the go. So whether you're playing a game at home,
yes, goal,
or attending one live, you can do more without spending more. Learn how to save at cox.com/internet. Cox Internet is connected to the premises via coaxial cable. Cox Mobile runs on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability as measured by Ookla LLC in the U.S. to H 2023. Results may vary, not an endorsement. Other restrictions apply.
Worried about letting someone else pick out the perfect avocado for your perfect impress them on the third date guacamole? Well, good thing Instacart shoppers are as picky as you are. They find ripe avocados like it's their guac on the line. They are milk expiration date detectives. They bag eggs like the 12 precious pieces of cargo they are. So let Instacart shoppers overthink your groceries so that you can overthink what you'll wear on that third date. Download the Instacart app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 per order. Additional terms apply.
Have you ever covered a carpet stain with a rug? Ignored a leaky faucet? Pretended your half-painted living room is supposed to look that way? Well, you're not alone. We've all got unfinished home projects. Whether it's a door that sticks, or a disorganized closet, or an AC unit that only works half the time. It all matters. You just haven't taken care of it yet. But there's an easier way. Just download the Thumbtack app. You can search for what you need done and find tons of highly rated pros right in your neighborhood. Check prices, reviews, and book a pro right on the spot. Plus, you'll know what to tackle next, because Thumbtack is the app that shows you what to do, who to hire, and when. Pull out your phone and in just a few taps, say goodbye to all those unfinished home projects and say hello to caring for your home the easier way. Download Thumbtack and start a project today.
Brian Green joins us from Florida. Shockers getting ready for the American Athletic Conference tournament. They face UAB tomorrow morning. Coach Green, how are you?
Good, guys. How you doing?
We're doing well. Thank you for jumping on the show with us. I told Jeff I wanted to ask you, when you get into a routine, as baseball people do pretty easily, and you played most of your games in the evening and on the weekends in the afternoon, and you're asked to play a 9 a.m. game in a tournament, what kind of an adjustment is that, if there is one at all?
Yeah, it'll be different. The routines for the coaches are just in such that we get to use today in terms of our preparation. But for the kids, we won't adjust how we do it. It's just going to be earlier. So we'll get up and we'll have our team meeting and we'll have a breakfast, and then we'll get to the field and cage pregame and get after it at 9 o'clock. So the one thing that I've said to our coaches and our team is, if any team is set to be competitive at 9 a.m., it's this team. They're a rowdy bunch, and they're a big energy group, and I don't think they're going to have any trouble getting up tomorrow. I think they may have some trouble getting to sleep tonight. Will be my issue with that. But these guys are going to be ready to play. It's been a really fun group to coach this last month.
So you go into this tournament one run game away from having won 8 in a row. You've won 7 of the last 8. So what has gone right in that time period? How nice was it to kind of turn things around? And what are the kind of the positive vibes going on in the program right now?
Yeah, obviously we're scoring a bunch of runs. I think we've kind of solidified a lineup, which sounds crazy, but we played so many different lineups, and we're just such a matchup-driven roster currently this year that we played a lot of guys, and I think you've seen a lot of guys that maybe couldn't quite get in the rhythm. I think you're seeing a group that's found some rhythm right now, and you got Hayworth and Davin's been our center fielder all year, and Stroh has returned to the lineup and is playing fantastic baseball, and Livingston has jumped into the mix, and then Rogers and Vernon and Johnson are just playing good baseball. So I think, one, you're starting to see a group offensively that's settling into rhythm. 2, we've definitely found a group on the field that's playing better team defense. I know that wasn't the case on Sunday, but during that stretch where it was, again, one hit away from 8 in a row, but going 7-1 in our last 8, team defense has been really good, guys. I think we went through a stretch of 6, if not 7 games in a row where we didn't have an error. And it wasn't like we were striking a bunch of people out. We were just playing really good team defense. So that's been happening. And then with some of the rest that we've gotten with the schedule lightening up and not having the double midweeks, consecutively, our pitching was able to rest a little bit more. And I think at the end of the day, it's about Tommy Lepore and Caden Favors. And they've been lights out on Fridays and Saturdays, and they've both been giving us 6-7 innings a start for 3, if not 4 starts in a row. And put those things together, and the Shockers are a pretty good baseball team right now.
Brian Green, our guest, he's the head baseball coach at Wichita State. They open AAC tournament play tomorrow in Clearwater, Florida against UAB. So I look at the standings, and man, you talk about balance. It's just been that way all year. Nobody has really been able to separate from the pack outside of perhaps East Carolina. And even East Carolina has kind of gone a little bit cold here late in the year. They had a 4 or 5 game losing streak. So how do you handicap this tournament? Is it really anybody's tournament?
I really believe that it is. I think the park, this is obviously my first time at this park in the American tournament, but reminds me a lot of the New Mexico State experience and the WAC when we played at the A's Pro Park. I think anytime you go into a conference tournament where you play in a really big park, where potentially scoring runs is a challenge, well, I think it makes it open for anybody. Contact at the plate, good team defense in the outfield. I think that's one. I think the park plays into that. But then 2, with the league, first year going through it, just such a good competitive league. And yeah, ECU at home, really good. They can handle left on left. They've got a Friday night starter who is essentially a win for them. And after that, they're basically looking to go 1-1. But guys, I think to get a little more clarity on your question, I just think everybody in this league has a legitimate Friday guy, and I think this league is very athletic in the outfield in particular, and it's pretty balanced from a roster standpoint. I think we may be one of the more imbalanced rosters just in terms of being too heavy left or right-handed, but after going through it, I think anybody can win it. Every guy's got somebody who can beat you on the mound, if not 2, and to take that with a big park. And I think we're all primed to compete because the league was a bear. I mean, it went down to the last hour to see who was going to be the final team in the tournament. So it's a really competitive league.
I was interested when you were talking about the lineup and kind of finding that group finally toward the end of the year, and what some of your philosophies are when putting together a batting order. We kind of all know the conventional thinking that you want speed at the top and power in the middle and contactability down low and maybe some speed too. I root for the Guardians. Their manager, Stephen Vogt, says we just want to beat the starter. Is it as simple as let's be ahead when the bullpens take over? Are there other things that you think about when you do that?
That is such a great question, and a really fun question to talk about. Starting with, if you look at the midweeks that we played, to answer your question with that, I would draw and it wasn't successful, but we also weren't very designed for it. When we would play those midweek games, and you'd see teams go back and forth with you, left, right, left, right, left, right. That was a real challenge for us. And so in putting a lineup together, for example, against Oklahoma State, where they would have 3 nightmare lefties coming out of the pen going 94, 97. And if they would start, right or left, and you wanted to stack left, you knew in the 4th inning in a midweek, they were bringing those guys in, and we didn't have a right-handed counter. So in those regards, trying to balance it. In this tournament, beat the starter. Let her rip if the splits say go left and go left and go left heavy. Get the starter out and then go to work with bullpen. And obviously there are some staffs here who can really left right you. East Carolina is probably the most balanced that can left right you. But in conference, we've been very effective with as left-handed as we are against left-handed pitching, and the stats will tell you that. So. That's one, is beat the starter. And then 2, length is a big one for me, guys. We don't have a conventional lineup. I think a conventional lineup would say that Cam Johnson should be leading off for us. He's been hot his last 10 games. He can bunt. He can run. But he also right now provides real value at the bottom and provides some balance for us where we're not essentially athletic. So we put Lane Hayworth at the top. He's certainly not your conventional leadoff guy. He's an average runner. He's not a base stealer, but he gives us, without hesitation, the most competitive at bat, maybe on the team. And I like to start the game off that way, and that gives us some freedom left or right to know that here's a guy who's going to give you 6 pitches, he's going to compete. And if he strikes out, he's not going to come in and thump his bat. He's going to come in and share the information with the next hitter, and by his third at bat, he'll probably hit a left-on-left double. So that's how I look at it, as length. And I think when you look at our team right now, the reason we're having so much success versus, say, a month ago we had 5 guys hitting, and we were really naked at the bottom. Right now, Seth Stroh's in the 8-hole with 10 home runs, and he's on fire. Livy's in the 7-hole, and he's lighting it up right now. Cam Johnson's hitting 400 his last 10 games. He's in the 9. So I try to camouflage the guys who are scuffling, maybe in the middle of the lineup, and put hot guys both at the top and the bottom around them to give them some protection.
Wichita State baseball coach Brian Green is our guest. So you're coming to the end of your first season with the Shockers. What are your takeaways? What have you learned not only about this program, what it's going to take to get Wichita State back into a situation where you go into these tournaments maybe as a 1 seed, just things that you've learned in year 1?
Well, I've learned that it is absolutely awesome to coach here, and coaching at Eck is just an unbelievable experience. But one of the things that we've had to really battle, guys, is especially when we were going through the April, was to not think about next year and to just stay with our guys and stay with our guys and stay with our guys. But with regards to what we've learned or what we need to do to make the next jump, number 1 will be athleticism. You'll certainly see a faster team on the field next year. The league is athletic. The league, in going through it, is not a Homer Dome league. The parks are pretty big. The parks actually mirror this park. Most of them do. East Carolina can be offensive. But UAB is a big park. Rice can be a big park. UTSA can be a big park. And if you look at that, we've got to be faster in the outfield, and we've got to be able to steal bases and put the ball on the ground in terms of a bunt game more. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is we've done a really good job of striking people out and putting balls on the ground. But we're going to need a little more variety on the mound. We're going to need some more top-of-the-zone guys, some spin rate guys, some over-the-top slot guys. We're going to need a little more curveball in the program and a little less slider. And we certainly know that we like Hunter Holmes, and we need about 4 more of him to go get any left-hander out when it really matters. But those are really the things that we're going to target in the recruiting process, and we've signed a lot of that athleticism already, but we'll hold and see where we are come July to fill the gaps in the portal.
So in this day and age of college athletics, and I'm going to specify on pitching where it's velocity heavy at a lot of levels, what is the best way to recruit and develop pitching? Because I asked, East Carolina, they had Gavin Williams, now they had Savage, first-round guys. Are they just getting those guys because they're projectable and they can see that future? Are they arriving as almost finished products? And are those guys recruitable? Can you find one of those guys every couple years?
Yeah, I think no question. We were able to find Kyle Bradish at New Mexico State in July coming out of high school, and he was 86, 87, and next thing you know, he's 94, 96 and puts on 30 pounds. I think the two things you look at are outside of the makeup and the parents are the bodies. You number one, in order to find that projection and to find that durability, we've got to find kids who are physical, and they've got to be big, especially in Wichita with it being cold. Another, what have you learned in Wichita was something that I learned in Pullman, but we have to have big guys on the mound who have big hands, and pitching in the cold with small hands doesn't enable you to spin the baseball. So that's important, but I think no question you can find those guys, and I think we're really trying to hunt those guys out. Get high school kids who are maybe undersized, but the arm path is clean, comes from a good family, good student, and has maybe good genes where 20, 30 pounds is on its way. And I think Savage is a good example of that. He was certainly not what he is now, even a year ago. So I think it's certainly going to happen. Or even look at the development of Favors, who was very good last year, but he's made a considerable jump in a year. So to your question, yeah, I think they're out there. And for us, we're going to recruit projection at the high school level. And with regards to those velocity guys who can really throw it, really try to keep those guys down, and really try to recruit ratio in the summer, with strikeout to walk being the key stat when we're recruiting people.
All right, Coach, we really appreciate it. Good stuff. Best of luck to the Shockers as they participate in the American Athletic Conference tournament down in Clearwater, Florida. Again, first game tomorrow, 9 a.m. Florida time, 8 o'clock here. You can hear it right here on KFH. Brian, thank you.
Appreciate it, guys. You bet. Go Shocks.
Save on Cox Internet when you add Cox Mobile and get fiber-powered internet at home and unbeatable 5G reliability on the go. So whether you're playing a game at home,
Yes, goal.
or attending one live, you can do more without spending more. Learn how to save at cox.com/internet. Cox Internet is connected to the premises via coaxial cable. Cox Mobile runs on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability as measured by Ookla LLC in the U.S. 2H 2023. Results may vary, not an endorsement. Other restrictions apply.
After investing billions to light up our network, T-Mobile is America's largest 5G network. Plus, right now, you can switch, keep your phone, and we'll pay it off up to $800. See how you can save on every plan versus Verizon and AT&T at T-Mobile.com/across America.
Up to 4 lines via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device credit. Service ported 90+ days with device and eligible carrier, and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months.
We all belong outside. We're drawn to nature. Whether it's the recorded sounds of the ocean we doze off to, or the succulents that adorn our homes, nature makes all of our lives, well, better. Despite all this, we often go about our busy lives removed from it. But the outdoors is closer than we realize. With AllTrails, you can discover trails nearby and explore confidently. With offline maps and on-trail navigation, download the free app today and make the most of your summer with AllTrails.